Hello again to another episode of AI Ranch, where we investigate how AI is affecting all sorts of businesses and people around the world. And today with me, I have my good friend Ark Osaze Omo-ojo from Nigeria, Africa, and also South Asia. So he is really special person because he is a developer and business person, and also even AI researcher with masters. He's founded a couple of companies in Africa, South Asia, and he has, I think, a unique perspective on the way how AI affects regions outside of the Europe and the Americas. So welcome.
Hi, Evalds. Thank you for having me on. I appreciate being on your call.
Yeah. So could you please tell about your background? As I mentioned, you're from Africa, Nigeria, if I understand, and we met in
Yes.
UK, and now you're in East Asia. So, and remember we were starting with computer games, right? You liked computer
I
games, and
know.
then you went to the AI, and then now you're making solar panels or batteries, right? So give a little bit of your background.
Okay.
How yeah.
Okay. So I have a BSc in computer science and an MSc in artificial intelligence from the University of South Wales. I've dabbled in computer vision, ISP, and until recently, renewable energy, specifically on the energy storage side. Um, yeah, that's pretty much it so far. I don't want to. I'm going to try and keep things succinct so I don't bore your audience.
So, how do living standards and technology literacy differ between what you experienced in UK, Africa, and South Asia? Do you see any patterns that are common in these places?
Um, yeah, there are common aspects, but I would say living standards between Africa, Europe, and Southeast Asia, they vastly differ, from region
Mm.
to region. For example, in Nigeria, you find that most basic necessities are treated as luxury. Yeah. For example, water, electricity, they're so expensive these days. Some people have to ration them. This is not the case in other regions. Depending on how much you earn, you can still live a good life, like a hassle-free life. Well, like I said, it all depends on how much you earn. Now, on the subject of literacy, mostly what you'll find is that Africans, specifically Nigerians, are highly educated, and we always pursue, postgraduate education more than the rest of our counterparts. And this is mostly because we see education as a key to a better life. So the more education you gain, the more knowledge you gain, the better off you are in terms of opportunities in life. And I would agree somewhat, but region to region, I think if you compared to Africa, if you go to somewhere like Europe, someone who masters the trade can live a very good life. I mean, like an electrician, a lumberjack, they can still live, as multi-millionaires, but this is not the case in Nigeria. It's very rare to find people like that who are not, highly educated and still earn, a good life or good living.
So, do you understand correctly that in Nigeria, to have a good living, comparable living standard to the Europeans, you need to have good education, and then afterwards you would go in the technology field, and I assume that you would export your knowledge and reap benefits of economies around the globe, right? Not locally, right? Is that the way? Yeah.
Correct. That is one way people go about it. So I'm sure you're familiar with gig workers. So, I mean, that is one way people pursue it. Or, I mean, quite recently, I believe it was last year, I was recruited by Amazon, Prime UK to relocate. And if I wasn't, in a good position, I would have probably considered that as an option. And most people do take that as an option and, move their entire life and move to another part of the world to work for, maybe one of the big three companies, big three tech companies, you know? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And if you look at the Africa as a whole, there was this Central African dollar and the French influence, and recently, as I understand, it has been gone, right? And which countries around Nigeria are more technologically advanced, and which are a little bit lagging, and what is the situation there?
I would say in terms of technology advancements and technology literacy, I would say Nigeria is probably at the forefront of it. And once again, this has a lot to do with how we seek out education. Perhaps you could argue South Africa, maybe Ghana, Uganda, not so much. But I don't think they're too bad. There's another country that comes to mind now. It's just skipped my mind. But there they're making smartphones. I mean, they're not like up to scratch compared to what the type of smartphones are being manufactured in Asia, but at least, they're doing something. So there are some African countries that are doing that. Now, regarding the French countries who are pulling out from Francophone, as we like to call them, pulling out from the French influence. I believe if you give it enough time, I'm sure they will, make good strides in terms of technological advancements. It's just been Africa as a whole, as a continent, is very blessed. We've just had poor leaders. We just had very terrible leaders. So, but I'm hopeful that at some point, we will get back on track and, catch up with the rest of the world in terms of technological advancements.
Do you know any good examples from Nigeria? What kind of technology companies that have managed to get to the world stage that maybe some Europeans would know, or at least if we Google it or search it in Perplexity, we would find something interesting regarding that. Can you tell a couple of examples?
Okay, so quite recently, um, fintech has been a huge thing. Um, so we have two major fintech companies that have more or less reached unicorn status. So we have Flutterwave that was sold for about, I think, $1 billion, and Paystack, which was, in the high hundreds of millions of dollars it was sold for. So yeah, I mean, we're not doing too bad in terms of technological advancements, you know?
Mm. Mm. Okay, that's great. I believe that, especially always for the developing economies like my own here in the Eastern Europe, there are some advantages of being not the same level of the pay and development as the Western countries, because then uh, you can build these advanced products, services, much cheaper, and then compete with them better on these larger markets. So as you said, it's kind of similar story here in the Eastern Europe, that if you want to have these living standards same as in America or Western Europe, then you would start a technology career and then advance as far as you can go and build your own products and services. But then following this line, so I know that you have started multiple businesses. Maybe you can tell some progression of what you have started and what you learned so far.
Okay. So speaking of my progression as a businessman in Nigeria, I will say this. I was thrown into the deep end, right from the start. It really is the Wild West in Nigeria. I mean, the business conduct is like nothing else you've ever experienced. And if you aren't um, if you aren't smart enough, you can get taken for a ride. And I was taken for a ride quite a few times. I will say that. But over the last couple of years, I think I've set up about 4 companies, and I'm sorry, 6 companies actually. And I'm currently running 3 companies out of those 6 companies. Two of them I closed down. One of them is still on the back burner because I'm not at the stage where I can take that product to market. So I'll give you a bit more background on the products. So I have IBsoft, which is an IT service company. So if you want to build any tech, we have a sit down, we look at what's available in the market, and then we can put something together for you. So I'll give you an idea. In the past, we've done time and attendance systems for the state government. We've done access control for the state government as well under IBsoft. Um, so now I have Tandemkinetics, which is the renewable energy company. I have Bespoke Balloons and Flowers, which is a flower company. I also have Core Quant, which is the ISP, or the product is still under development at the moment. In terms of government assistance or government aid or rebates or anything like that, there's been nothing of the sort. So every bit of success we've achieved purely based on our merits, based on the hard work, the work we've put into it. We've not had any grants, we've not had any funding, nothing at all. We've built everything from the ground up, and that is mostly the case with most successful businesses in Nigeria. Nobody helps you. You have to do it yourself. If you fail
No, no,
multiple
no,
times,
not
you have to
only,
pick
not
yourself
only
back up.
no. Yeah, not only nobody helps you, but as you painted the picture, it might be similar than it was in 90s in Eastern Europe after collapse of Soviet Union, when there actually businesses were run more like a mafia rather than the just the modern type of cooperation. So is it something also from what you told in Nigeria, or is it more civilized? Like they somebody will not knock at your door at night if you do the wrong choices, right? Or how it is.
Um, on the surface, it appears to be, business is conducted in a very civil manner. But underneath all of that, there's a lot that goes into it. I don't want to go into too much detail because I don't
Maybe
want
get
anybody
some
coming for me.
coming for you. Yeah.
Yeah, but
So
like I said, if you put your head down, you do your work, you're good. You pay your
mhm,
taxes. There's no issue at all. There's no issue, but there are other factors that have a role to play in it. Factors that we have no control over. But like I said, it's just at the moment we've just seen it as the cost of doing business in Nigeria, plain and simple. That's just
mhm.
what it is.
I know actually a couple of entrepreneurs who have started companies in African countries just because also of the opportunity of lower costs, and then they do
Yep,
lots of smaller experiments. Like set up team of 5 people, do some product. Test it on the market, and then see if it works, and if it works then they take to the next level. So I have seen something like that, and there's might be opportunity of this, but it might be a different experience for Europeans or Americans to work in that kind of business environment. But
actually,
yeah.
actually, no, foreigners tend to thrive in this market, and this is purely because of the mentality. So we're very Africans as a whole are very welcoming. So you start a
Mm,
business there, people are most likely going to, patronize that business. I'll give you an
mm,
example. Majority of the restaurants in the highbrow areas in Lagos. Lagos is the metropolitan city of Nigeria. It's where you find most of the advancements. Um, so most of the restaurants, the high-end restaurants, are run by foreigners. I mean, they're run by Indians, Lebanese, some British people, some Americans. They run these restaurants, and they're very, very lucrative, very profitable. You know, and this is purely
mhm,
because uh, I guess living in the country has given them an idea of how things work there. So they've learned
mhm,
to, you know, work with the system or work around the system to ensure, the survival of their business. So yeah, uh, there's always room. whenever I speak to any of my friends from anywhere in the world, I tell them, look, Africa is the next frontier. It is green fields. Like, think of any
Hmm.
business you want to start, and I can guarantee you there is no monopoly in that business currently in Africa.
Hmm. That's that sounds exciting. So
It is.
okay. Okay. And but I agree also with this one thing you just said that in Africa, if you want to start a business, there's that's another part which is not as welcoming, no grants and so on. But at the same time, if you survive there, right, like the same way, if you survive your business, your technology business or any other survives in Eastern Europe, then it will survive anywhere because
Anywhere else. Yeah.
nobody pays for something that doesn't give value. Everybody has very limited
Yep.
resources, and only the things that gives the most value makes money. So, and in that case. Regarding the tandem kinetics, or so, the it seems that you're selling solar and Powerwall solutions, right? Tell more about that, and why did you choose that path?
Okay. Yeah. I'd be delighted to share more about our hybrid power walls and the technology stack behind our products. Um, So our hybrid power walls are designed to provide reliable, efficient energy storage solution. So let me break that down. It's an all-in-one system. So you have connection to the grid, you have connection to solar panels, you have connection to maybe a backup generator, a backup diesel generator. And what this does is you have a mix of different energy sources. So if the grid is unavailable, you fall back on your battery storage. During the day when solar panels are available, the solar panels charge your batteries and also power your home appliances. At night, if the grid is unavailable, solar panels are unavailable, your diesel gen is unavailable, then you have energy storage. You have the energy that you stored in your battery to use. Yeah. So these power walls are designed to provide reliable and efficient energy storage. So we've more or less combined the benefits of multiple energy storage stacks with the efficiency, durability, and cost effectiveness. Yeah. Some key features, worth mentioning. Sorry, they're configurable based on sorry, based on your current energy usage needs, and then you try and strike a balance between life cycle as well. So, say for example, now you have high load. Yeah, maybe you want to power air conditioning units. You want to power um, heaters, maybe electric ovens or things like that, that would most likely draw a lot of current. So you strike a balance between life cycle and your energy needs. So if you have 6,000 charge cycles, it means that you most likely be charging and discharging your batteries twice a day. So for you, you just have to strike that cost benefits. We also have real time data monitoring via Wi-Fi or Bluetooth with an app and via laptop, so you can view your system from anywhere in the world. It doesn't matter where you are. We use a very stable LFP chemistry, so that's lithium iron phosphate, and this gives you about 10 years or 6,000 charge cycles, depending on how you use it or whichever comes first. We also have smart battery chargers, which are designed to optimize your battery performance and also comes with multiple levels of protection. Now, our systems are very scalable. And what I mean by scalable is if you purchase maybe a 10 kilowatt system from us today and your energy needs increase in the future, you can just purchase another 10 kilowatt system from us and then connect the two in parallel. And then you have double the power. You have double the power, you have double the storage as well. And we're also
And then
flexible in the
then
way that you can also just go on.
So I looked at your like some of these configurations that you're showing on the website, which by the way looks really nice. So what is your typical client? You mentioned something about households, but from the side from the it looks a little bit more like factories or some larger
No,
locations.
no. No, not at all, not at all. So we have products that fit into every segment. But right now we're working on a new product for even the lowest segment. We have our mid-range products, we have our flagship products, and we are working on another product to sit on top of the flagship product as well. So we cater to residential, we cater to commercial as well. So, and these are very small form factors because they're all in one unit. They can fit into any home. They can fit into any factory setting, any commercial setting. It really depends on your needs. For our batteries, we can go as high as 100 kilowatt hour. 100 kilowatt hour on our battery storage. That is a lot of energy storage for any typical commercial setting, you know. And in terms of price comparison, compared to other products in the West, say Tesla, we beat their price by at least, I would say, 60%. We're cheaper, well, not cheaper, we're more affordable by 60%, and our technology stack is much better than theirs. So let me repeat
Mm-hmm.
that. Our product beats Tesla Powerwall in terms of pricing and in terms of feature set. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The battery chemistry we use currently is more stable than the battery chemistry currently being used by Tesla Powerwall.
But no, okay, that's really nice, but impressive. Hopefully, but do you understand correctly if you were mentioning this battery chemistry and some of these specific features here that you are not only integrator but you also make your own Tesh, right? Or is it how much it is your own and how much it is
No,
the
no, no. We make
components from
ours.
the.
No, no, no. No, so here's our process. We saw a gap in the market where typically what happens across Africa and Southeast Asia, you find that everything is made in China these days. Everything, I mean, absolutely everything. Don't let anybody deceive you. If you take a look at supply chain, you will see that a high percentage of goods that are manufactured come from China. Now, understanding this, you look at the divide. What tends to happen is the lower quality products are sent over to Africa and most parts of Southeast Asia and Latin America. Yeah. So we saw this gap in the market where we could offer value, great value with a great product. And so we slotted ourselves in there. We designed the product from scratch ourselves. We source for the components from different suppliers, and then they're assembled in a factory in China for us. So everything you see, we are more or less OEM. Yeah. So we build everything ourselves and then we install. And the only reason we handle installations right now is because we're still pushing the product into the market and we're trying to create a brand for ourselves. But at the moment, we have over 200 engineers, 200 engineers who have signed up to learn more about our product and join our third-party installer network. So meaning any customer can go on our website, purchase the product, and then we can recommend a third-party engineer to come do the installation for you, one that we vetted for you. So this is our
And
process.
okay, so it sounds really there could be a real potential, I believe, like if you could master this, right? There is the as you said, you can do this cheaper and also with more features and more efficient than
Yeah,
the big players, right? So
yeah.
and then you as you said previously, in Africa there's very little monopoly yet at this moment for different. So you might be the one who takes this position, and then what is the cost for these households or businesses, and how fast they can return on investment in the, let's say, Nigeria.
Okay, so it really depends on the household, but from our experience, depending on your energy needs, and this is another aspect that we'll talk about, trying to get people to be more energy conscious and efficient. Because what you find most times is people just leave their lights on, they leave their air conditioning on. There's so much energy being wasted, so that's one aspect we're trying to reach. But in terms of return on investment, from household to household, we aim to help our customers achieve ROI within 18 to 24 months. Now, this again depends on the size of the system, first of all, how efficiently you use the system, and if you're going to get the right system for your home. Let me let me
And
let me
the
explain it.
okay.
So for example, now, if a customer requires a 10 kilowatt system and they only go ahead to purchase a 5 kilowatt system, you understand that their return on investment is going to be a bit slower because, for example, now, that 5 kilowatt system may not be enough to generate enough power from the sun to power their appliances during the day and also charge their batteries. So essentially, it means that for most of the time, they will still be heavily reliant on power from the grid or a backup generator, backup diesel generator, or backup petrol generator. So their spending is still going to be more. But if you need a 10 kilowatt system, then go ahead, get a 10 kilowatt system and then start to calculate, your return on investment.
But
At this
is
point now,
it
it will
real?
be a case.
Is it really that in Africa? Is it really that in Africa, it is more cost efficient to run diesel generators than powering from grid?
No, it is
Why do you
not.
have
It is
right?
not. No,
Yeah.
no, it is more cost efficient. No matter where you are in the world, it's always going to
Mhm.
be more cost efficient for you to generate free power from the sun via solar panels and store in your battery for nighttime usage or when, the grid entirely collapses or you have no backup generator. Look, currently, cost per
No,
kilowatt
no,
hour power from the
but
grid.
like the house table is the grid in Nigeria, and then also the at which moments then these diesel generators come in. It is, as I understand, it's just when the grid comes down, right?
Yes, correct. So at the moment, in the past month, the cost per kilowatt hour has more than quadrupled in
Mm.
Nigeria. So you're paying more for power from the grid, which is not reliable. It depends on the band you're on. So currently they split it up into three bands, or is it four bands? Band A, B, and C. So depending on which band you are, you will get maybe band A will get up to 20 hours of electricity. Band B will get maybe about 15 or 16 hours of electricity. Band C will get about, I think it's 10 or 12 hours of electricity. Don't quote me on these figures, but it's somewhere within those margins. Yeah. Meaning that even if you're in band A, yeah, you're going to be paying more times four, times four the amount you previously used to pay. So it's more expensive and the availability is not even guaranteed. So the 20 hours could fall outside the period or within the period where, maybe during the day where you'd be generating free electricity. And then maybe a couple of hours in the night where you actually need that power from the grid, or maybe your batteries are not fully charged, then you don't have power from the grid. Yeah. Now, in terms of diesel generators, people turn them on whenever they don't have power. And the cost of diesel, it's not cheap. And cost of diesel, cost of fossil fuel is not cheap anywhere in the world at all. You know, even if we produce um our own crude oil, it doesn't. We're not beneficiaries of free petrol or cheap petrol, unfortunately, because our refineries are currently not working. So we also have to import refined petrol from other countries, refined petroleum products. We have to import them. We have to pay a premium on them, so it's very expensive. Power is very expensive anywhere in the world, and more so Africa for some reason.
Okay, so you mentioned like if I remember, 18 to 24 months return of investment. Do you help to finance these conversions to your products, or the customer needs to find the upfront cost themselves?
So compared to Asia um, to the West, most of everything that we purchase upfront with cash upfront. It's very rare to find people who finance things. I'm not saying that the options aren't there. The options are there, but I'll give you an example now. I'm not going to mention the name of the bank, but we reached out to them for to offer financing for our customers, and the interest rate we got for our customers was 28% interest
Mm.
rate last year.
Yeah.
This year, that interest rate has risen to close to 30% interest rate. So if someone is purchasing a system and getting it financed by the banks, by any other financial institution, it doesn't make much sense. That return on investment is looking at more like 5, 6 years at this point.
Mhm.
If you're going through the route of financing, so most people tend to pay upfront. In fact, some of our
Mm.
customers will give them, the benefit to pay twice. So you pay once we start production in your system, and then during that process of production, you're expected to pay the full balance, you know, before your system is handed over to you. At least that's our own way of trying to help out. And this is interest free. So we don't charge any interest on this, maximum of two payments you make, and then, the system is yours, you know.
Mhm. Okay, you also actually help to finance these things with some payment schedule, especially for these kind of economies where I guess might be the case that a lot of people don't have upfront ability to
No,
pay for this, right?
not at
Um,
all. Not at all.
hmm And then I want to just start moving towards AI, but regarding this current set of products, so what is your roadmap? When do you plan to offer these products outside Africa as well, or you see there's a long road ahead in Africa and there's many opportunities there in South Asia?
Yeah. So at the moment, we are currently working on our sixth generation design, our sixth generation product line. And one of the things we've taken into consideration is being able to ship these products to other parts of the world. So we're looking at other parts of Africa, South Africa, Senegal. We're also looking at the US market as well. Our sixth generation, 6 kilowatt system and 10 kilowatt system, we are gearing for other parts of the market, other regions of the market. Um, yes, Europe is a market that we are heavily considering. However, we haven't really taken any necessary steps, towards selling our products in those markets. And I think that's purely because of understanding the legislation in those markets. Legislation will differ from region to region. Safety conduct, safety rules, all of that. We need to understand that fully. So if we have to tweak a few things in the product development so that this product can work in the European market, then we'll happily do so. You know, but
Mhm.
yeah,
Okay.
we are open to other
So
markets as well.
yeah, then if we directly compare, let's say Tesla Powerwall, so it's about like 10K, and it has these about 10 kilowatt
Yeah,
units, and so comparing to that, you mentioned you have like 60% more
it's about
cost.
60%.
Yeah, but then
If you're,
then yeah,
yeah,
yeah. What is the cost comparing to your system if I would consider installing these Tesla Powerwalls versus your units?
okay, so one of the benefits of our system, it's very DIY friendly. Yeah. So in
Mhm.
terms of installation, if you have a basic electrical engineering or electrical understanding, you can simply wire your home, buy the system, and install yourself. It's really
Mm.
that simple. In terms of other cost aspects, where a Tesla Powerwall will cost you upwards of $16,000, you know, you'd probably get one from us for about $5, $6,000. I mean, that is a vast. That is a vast difference in terms of pricing, you know. And this is with 10. So we always rate it for 10 years, but depending on the usage, you can get 10 to 15 years or 6,000 charge cycles, depending on which comes first, you know. Some people
Mhm.
have pushed it, way beyond its limits and is still getting, a lot of mileage from their system. I'll give you an example. So when I started this, I wanted to do experiments. So I purchased a few cells from China and did a few experiments. Now I more or less damaged these cells. Yeah. These cells became bloated. And I kid you not, this chemistry is so safe that I tried to set one on fire. And it was
Mhm.
virtually impossible to set it on fire.
Mhm.
This cell is still currently in use. We are using this, a couple of these cells that we've heavily bruised, damaged, they are bloated, and we're currently still pulling power from these cells. That's how versatile, that's how robust, that's how safe this chemistry is, compared to the likes of Tesla Powerwall. The chemistry is so safe that Tesla has shifted to this chemistry for their cars, for their EVs. Look it up.
Mhm.
Tesla
Mhm.
currently ships out with lithium iron phosphate cells in their vehicles compared to
Mhm.
older models. And
Mhm.
we've been
So
using these cells upwards of 3 years now in our
Mm.
production.
So the Africa is great location for these solar technologies, but then like let's say the northern eastern part of Europe where we don't get as much sun, we could also use these battery packs and we because we have the price of electricity dynamic here. So basically during the nights we could charge and during the days we could use it and that's how we could save probably. So the do you do something like that with your app, and there the technology comes in where you do the algorithms? Do you use some kind of AI or some kind of advanced way to monitor these tariffs and make sure that your clients get the most value?
So I'm glad you mentioned that. That is one of the areas that we're currently looking at developing. Currently, we don't have that feature set, and that's just purely because we don't have these sort of energy dynamics or energy sale dynamics over in Africa. It's more or less one tariff. You pay the same
Mm.
amount during the day, you pay the same amount during the night. It doesn't matter to them. Do you understand me?
Mm.
But one thing we are working towards, uh, one thing we're working towards is our smart energy solutions. So I'll give you an example now. Um, Early this year, we did two POCs for our smart appliance line. We did a washer dryer, and we did a dishwasher. So the idea is to have an ecosystem where these smart appliances, talk to our energy system. So I'll give you an example. Now, you work 9 to 5, and during the day, you're not around to take the benefits of the sun. Maybe you want to wash your dishes, you want to wash your clothes. You can just set the system. The system already knows, okay, I'm going out to work now. By the time I'm at peak solar production, the system knows to focus on having my dishes washed, having my clothes washed and dried, and then everything else. And then it stores the excess energy back in my battery. And all this is done intuitively. Then at nighttime, when your tariff is lower, then you can now take advantage. The system knows, okay, well, nighttime um, energy rates, since there's no power from the sun, maybe my batteries weren't full, is going to use power from the grid now to fill up the battery bank and then leave that in storage for when you need it. Yeah, so maybe during the day when you're now back to the same rates or the expensive rates again, you're now using power from your battery storage, and then when the sun comes back up again, you kick back in, and then you're back in solar production again, and the cycle just continues like that. But it's more or less like a smart system that knows to manage all these appliances together. So we're trying to build out that ecosystem. Right now, we've only done the dishwasher and the washing machine. over time, we hope to add more appliances to this and then build out the entire ecosystem, leveraging AI, as
And
the forefront of all this.
yeah, yeah, the AI aspect, yes. So how are you exactly using it now and planning to use in the future? Because like just simple algorithms would not probably classify as AI as you studied yourself the AI. For example, I can give you some hints. So like my developers, most of them use the GitHub Copilot, right? And we see that improves their work efficiency and programming speed, like at least 30%, maybe even more. So what kind of AI technologies you are already using and planning to use?
Okay, so more or less, we don't have anything currently in place, and again, that is purely because of the market we operate in. But over time, we are working towards a smart hub system, and as you rightly pointed out, it's not just an algorithm that's tracking when the tariff is low or things like that, because those are more or less just inputs. It's just tracking what periods where there's nothing complex about that. But what I'm talking about is a smart hub system that truly understands, because your needs will change from time to time. So it goes beyond just the appliances. So even down to turning on the light switch, it knows, okay, well, I know this person or the user is around at this time. Okay, let me sort of shift their energy preferences based on their current usage. So it learns from your day-to-day aspects. So say for example, now you don't necessarily have to go into the app and then set it, oh, I'm going to be at home this weekend, so give me pure, the best energy usage. No, the system knows from your usage based on, you being at home for a long period of time, or whether or not, you're hardly around. Because I'll give you an example now. If I traveled, yeah, and I forgot to turn off appliances or turn off my solar system or anything like that, the system should intuitively know that, okay, well, there's nobody around to use the system, then there's no need for me to store, so much energy. So the system can decide, okay, well, I'm going to charge the batteries up to 75% and keep it topped up at that point. There's no need for me to strain the batteries or strain the cells at that point, and then, carry on as you go. This is something that we're trying to build up to. As they say, Rome wasn't built in a day. We're not trying
Yeah,
to build out the entire feature set in one go. Where it's
yeah,
it's a progressive sort of way of doing things. That we're
yeah. So
the
you
entire goal
mentioned
here.
Yeah, you're mentioning that that these pattern recognition systems and optimization systems that will use AI and that they will require data, right? So and you will
Yes,
have your clients, and this will be a great opportunity to collect data and then
collect
improve
data
your
and then learn.
yeah,
Correct.
improve services, improve products. So how different it is in Africa regarding the data privacy and AI regulations. There in as you might know in Europe,
That's
as there
very
is the
strict.
says. Yeah, there is even saying that Americans invent things, Chinese copy things, and Europeans regulate things. So there is like even the economic projections for near future, depending on data and AI, they are much less impact for Europe than other parts of the world, because Europe is shooting in foot, But then how it is in the Africa? Do you have any regulations regarding that? Do you have on the AI side, on data side, or is it like as you said, the Wild West, where you while like where you can do,
Purely the
yeah,
Wild West. Uh, so in terms of adoption, what you find is Africa tends to try and adopt the models we find in the West. Yeah, so data privacy laws and all those things. Yes, they've been written into new versions of the Constitution, uh, but in practice, we find that in lots of companies. I mean, we have Facebook, we have Netflix. All these companies operate in Africa, but we find that the same privileges or the same laws that guide them in the West, in other parts of the world, are not as they're not strictly applied in Africa. So these guys can get away with most things. Now, there is one blessing though. Data is king. So with the amount of data that they are getting from Africa, it's allowed them to, really progress in terms of technological advancements. And what does that say for us, in terms of technology development in Africa? It means there's more free room for learning, for growing your tech, especially when it comes to AI. AI is all about learning. So there's a lot of room to learn,
Yeah, and then there are already good precedents. Like it seems from what you're saying that Nigeria, especially, which is English-speaking country, is and there is the technological advancement and education might be a great source for data for the countries that shoot themselves in the foot by limiting anything that you can do with data and AI. So, like example, you might know this that there is open articles which you can find easily on the web, even from the Guardian, that OpenAI recruited like thousands of Nigerians to make data sets for ChatGPT, and there is even this. One word in the business terms, which is mainly used in Nigerian English and not in the British and US English. This was the word delve, I think, like delve into topic or something like that. You might know how to use it better
yes,
than me. And
yeah.
then it seemed that ChatGPT was generating a lot of sentences with that word because the original data set was made basically in Nigeria. Later, they removed this word so that they don't have this reference back to the source. But anyhow, like, would you agree that the Nigeria and Africa itself is like a great source for AI advancement because there is less regulations, plus also do Nigerians themselves use these tools like ChatGPT and other AI tools?
Absolutely. So yes, to the first question, there is more room for AI to grow in Africa as a whole. And also, a lot of people use ChatGPT more than you realize in Africa. Like I said, even for assignments, presentations, uh, think of anything you want. People are using ChatGPT. I guarantee you that much. I mean, only recently I was thinking about using an AI platform to help design a tattoo for myself, and this was back in Nigeria. So if I'm thinking about it, I guarantee you a great number of other Nigerians and Africans are thinking about it. So yeah, Nigerians are more advanced than, the rest of the world gives them credit for. I think it would be an interesting opportunity, even for your company as well, to come set up shop in Africa. I've tried to convince you multiple occasions to come over to Nigeria as well, and I still see us doing more business in the future. Especially with Tandemkinetics. My first go-to for the AI aspect was even to come to you. I see that you can bring great structure and great inventions in this space, you know. So I'm sure at that point you'll be hearing from me. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I like what you're doing, and I see that at least I hope that these products will achieve their full potential, and I see what other companies are doing and what you're telling that I believe that the especially for data collection, especially for these tasks which are difficult to do in Western markets. That might be a good opportunity. We'll definitely consider that. Then regarding the other AI tools, in your own professional life and your company, do you have some recommendations? What you have found that works well, especially that you have this background of researching AI yourself?
Um, I currently cannot recommend any AI platform, and this is purely because of my upbringing. I still see unregulated AI usage, especially with the likes of ChatGPT. I see the benefits, but I'm more or less a traditionalist in the term, you know, in the fashion where if I'm going to write an essay, I want it to be my own words, not strung up words together from different sources. I would rather understand what I'm talking about. So I still can't recommend any of these platforms to anybody. And like I said, this is just purely based on my own personal preferences. But in other aspects of using AI, where it can genuinely benefit people's lives. Maybe it's with energy usage, with health, with building, construction. Yes, I definitely see the benefits in those aspects. But currently, the AI products on the market, I can't recommend any of them. Another thing is, I don't think they're currently fully developed at the moment. I think there's still a lot of growth that could be made in those, at least within those markets, before there's any full-fledged product that can, go to market. And I'm sure you
Hmm.
agree with me in some form.
No, I think that the one reason why what I have seen in Eastern Europe as well, why people are still not getting the full potential of where we are with the AI currently, is that these AI systems, which are mainly based on artificial deep neural networks, it takes lots of GPU power to power
Yeah,
them
and
and
lots of
process
training.
them. Yeah, but also the inference GPU power, and then what it means actually, for me as a provider of this technology, it means that in my offices I have like huge, and in data centers I have huge GPU server stacks which costs like hundreds of thousands of euro, and that's just a small stack. The large providers have millions, and it means that if you want to try out ChatGPT or Perplexity AI, which replaced Google for me for last 6 months. I'm not using Google at all. So basically, it is that you need to understand that you need to pay for this. Like each of these
Yeah,
services will cost like 20, 30 euros per month.
yeah.
And especially for Eastern Europe, and I think it's similar to the Africa, a lot of people are not ready to risk with this. But if you try, then you don't go back because you know that you can do your work 3 times fast. So would you agree on that?
No, I definitely agree on that. I definitely agree on that. I guess for myself, there's just no current aspect in my life where it currently I see AI, directly benefiting me at the moment. Most of my daily aspect, AI is not going to help me with gardening. AI is not going to help me with the physical aspect, of the job. A lot of times I have to go into the field with our engineers to try and teach them, help them out with the installations to better understand the technology stack as well. So these are aspects that AI cannot necessarily, maybe on the admin side of things, yes, of course it can, but I try to, even with the usage, I try to minimize it, so at least I still have a bit more control over the final product. Yeah.
No, you're on something. I think that the physical aspect of the businesses, this is something yet to develop for the AI impact. So and may be also that like the Eastern Europe, and also there's similarities. It seems like in Africa, there's still lots of people working also outside the digital world, and it kind of brings you back to the reality where AI not always can do everything that humans can do. So and of course also this one aspect that in the future, if you want to compete in the market, in the workspace, also in the high tech, it's if you know only how to use these AI tools, that's what you can do. If you want to compete and get paid, then you need to be able to produce better quality work than AI will give you.
Yeah.
So this fundamental traditional way to learn, acquire knowledge, acquire skills. I think it's not going away, but at the same time, I encourage you and others, not to being as an ostrich, with the head in the sand and thinking I can live like my grandparents lived, right? So it's as transformative technology as trying out internet, as trying out Google, right? The search engines, as trying out mobile phones. So it is already as transformative as that. It is just that the ways how to use it, as you said, it's not yet fully developed, but it's developing fast.
No, it
So
is. It
the
is. It is.
yeah.
Have you
So
heard?
that
Sorry,
yeah.
Evald. Quick question. Have you heard of these smart AI personal devices? More or less like pocket
Yeah.
devices that
I think it
more or
was
less, yeah.
called Rabbit AI, or what was it the name?
There's the
Uh,
rabbit and there's
yeah.
one other one. So if you look at those devices, part of the reason why I say it's not developed to the point where I feel it would be of any great benefit. Of course, I would definitely, prefer to use AI to replace Google for myself. But I find that most of the search returns, I have to heavily scrutinize. Most of the results, I have to heavily scrutinize myself. So this is why for some time, I've more or less said to myself, okay, well, if I still have to do that extra work after my inquiry, then perhaps the product is not fully at the point where I can trust it. I can fully trust it. Like if I go ahead to Google something now and I click on the links and I read a couple of articles, then I have some confidence. But if I ask ChatGPT to give me, set a list of inquiries, for all these things, the chances are I still have to scrutinize a great
Yeah,
few of it.
I would never ask search queries to the ChatGPT. So you should look at one of my short videos where I present why people should try to pay money to Perplexity and RAG AI search engines, which work better than Google. So there's I think a potential also for yourself and other listeners to explore this a little bit more. So it's not as simple as you laid it out. But anyways, like I appreciate. This conversation and also your
Likewise.
stance, right, and your grit, that you don't give up, and you continue building all sorts of great products, and now what you're doing with the battery technology and solar technology, it seems very promising. So at the end, like where can the listeners and potential partners can find you, and what websites, sources, and so on?
Okay. Website, you can find us at tandemkinetics.tech. And on Instagram, you can find us at tandemkinetics. Yeah?
Mm-hmm,
At
mm-hmm,
tandemkinetics.
mm-hmm.
So just drop a
Okay.
message, send us an inquiry. We'll be happy to build. Even if you have a project, that you want us to build for you, send us the details. We'll sit down with you with our engineers and then see what we can build for your project as well. Yeah?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I hope that maybe some European listeners could also reach out to you and see some collaboration potential. As we mentioned, there are a lot of opportunities in Africa that we don't have here in Europe. And great talking to you, and see you
Likewise.
soon. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Evalds. I'll see you soon. Bye.
Yeah. Okay. Bye bye. As a gratitude for our work, please subscribe, like, share this content so many people can benefit from it. And see you in the next episode.